The beauty of synchronicity. The beauty of synchronicity, like, and then also to the point you made in one of your pieces, you put up some overlays about, you know, your creative person is going to make themselves known, something like that you said. And I was just like, oh my God, is this happening? Yes, this is happening. So here's what happened. Hello, YouTube. Hello. So before I share, let me just share for YouTube. We're on TikTok now, and I have a special guest who's going to introduce herself here very soon out of New York City. And I'm getting ready to share with everyone here how we got connected, because we just got connected on TikTok literally days ago. So you popped up on my For You page, and I saw you, and I'm a vast being, and I'm very clear. Like, I'm open, I'm spacious, I'm willing to be fully engaged in life. And that's very off-putting for a lot of people. I've had to learn to just dial it back and wait for invitations, or just do nothing, because maybe nothing will come of it, you know? And it's just been countless experiences in my life where I will just, girl, I'll be ready to fly to somebody I just saw on TikTok today, okay? I'll be ready to, I'll see a woman who I just am like, yes, she has it. I want to work with her. And be like, girl, let's go. You want to come to Italy? Like, what you doing? Where you at? How you doing? Where you at? Like, I'll be with a man too. Like, that's how free I am. And I know most people don't live like that. And I've had to learn over the years to just let it go. Don't be heartbroken, because I've been there. Like, don't be chronically disappointed, because I've been there. Just, okay, Naima, this is where you are here on earth with people who have not done this work, okay? So when I saw you on my For You page, love, just look at, oh yes, hello, I love you, you're amazing. Went to your wall, you know, you have no idea that I'm on your wall. I'm on your wall, looking at your content. I'm just like, exactly, yes, exactly. And then I just really let it sink in. You know, sometimes I'm like, oh, she's amazing, and I go on about my life. Or he's amazing, and I just go on about my life, right? With you, I sat there, and I'm like, look at this. Exactly. This is my person. This is what I'm thinking to myself. Yes, you're letting it sink in, right? No action. I don't DM you. I don't even comment on your shit. I'm just like, you know what I mean? I have learned to just let it sit. Just and that is such an effort for me in so many ways. Like, oh my God, the way we women can love and will love without all the fucking hindrances in the way. Okay? So I don't do anything. The next morning, I open up TikTok and I see a message from you, a woman who I've never spoken with, just saw yesterday. I see a comment from you that says, I literally love you. Let's go live. And I was in the bed when I saw that comment. I was just like, that's how it went. So I just want everybody here to know, listen, okay? Put it out there. Lean back, especially if you are a lover. And people are not receptive to love. We think we have to work hard and get it. We have to earn it. We have to like jump through hoops and create like the challenge because, ooh, now I got it. Right? And I get it. Humans love those games. Fine. I'm just not into it. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to share that for the record. That's how me and this beautiful woman, clearly a soulmate, got here today. And that's it.
So what I feel is that like you and I could sit in a room, you know, maybe we're outside. I'll be in, and also I'll be in Italy in a week. Just layer that serendipity in.
Wait. Where in Italy? Where in Italy?
Land in Napoli, and then I go to Ischia.
And how long are you going to be there?
2 weeks. I'll be there from the 28th to the 14th. I'm singing there, but it's really a vacation for me because it's not that strenuous of a gig.
Where's this other? So I heard Napoli. You said?
Yeah, it's an island off of Naples.
Okay, it's an island off of Naples. I'm going to be there because I too am going to be in Italy right before you, like 4 or 5 days before you leave.
Okay, so I've had enough.
I will be there. And guess what? Literally yesterday, because I want to go to Capri.
Oh.
And Capri is an island off of Naples. Literally.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Literally yesterday, I was looking at.
It's the analog that is completely untraversed by tourists. The only tourists who go to this island are Italian tourists. That's it.
And I was like, I want to go to Capri. Okay, when am I going to go? How is this going to go? Looking at all the details last night. And then here you are. And I've never even heard of this place that you're talking about. So I love that. I love that part. So, I mean, look, see, this is love right here. Like love really it doesn't need to work.
It doesn't need a damn thing.
It doesn't need to do all of that. If we just let it go though. So I think this really segues into a lot of your beingness, what I pick up and just witnessing you and the vastness that you are. There's such a willingness to really be in what I call the full contact sport of life. Can you talk about like how'd you get here to this really being receptive and open and being willing to be like, I love you, and then act on that and be open? Because this has been a two-way street between me and you. Because I could have ignored your comment, I could have messaged you and you could have been like, I changed my mind. All that could have happened, but here we are. So what got you to this place of being so vast and receptive?
Before I answer, thank you for the question. What got me here? I mean, the shortest way I can answer is both. I'll say it 2 ways. One, I believe that this is our nature. I believe that there is a vastness and a joyfulness moving through me, which is to say, moving through us at all times.
Yeah.
For example, I have this joy in me, not without my melancholy or my sorrow or I can play the sad girl. I can do that, and for good reason. But yet, and still, there is a joy in me that this little light of mine. Mm-hmm. It won't go out.
Yeah.
And so, I think that is my nature, which is to say, our nature. But the second part of that is that by necessity, through some events in my life, I have needed to get on the same page with that.
Yeah.
Movement,
yeah.
With that natural mechanic.
Yes.
And I needed to get into a place. And again, I think I was guided there. Like our grandmas and moms, they had that poster on the wall, footsteps, you're being carried. So I think I was carried to this, but I did need to intentionally put that knowingness into the place of, this is no longer a question anymore. This is not something that I'm going to Google again. I'm establishing a threshold and a boundary for myself. Because I don't know the boundaries of your platform, forgive me. But I have shit to do.
Yeah.
So so there's a couple things that need to be in the old chapter.
That's right.
They need to be integrated into the foundation. I need to stop. And I think that this is something that I picked up from your content, either directly or intuitively. But there's something about you that I was scrolling, checking for my likes, wasting time as we do, whatever it is. And then it's just like, it was this tractor beam of energy. And my spine stiffened immediately watching your content. And I was like, oh, yes. Immediately, yes. Right? And there was this, I don't know, something you said over again, if it was just a download, but there is this, how do I say this? If you're awake, this is the download that I get when watching you, and the affirmation about how my life is meant to go. If you are awake, or maybe perhaps in language that you have used, if you are big, if you're awake, then you need to be awake. Don't act like you're not awake. Because there's people who are asleep.
Yeah.
But that's not me.
Yeah.
My life, the direction of my life was such that I cannot be asleep.
Yeah.
My life woke me up.
Yeah.
Right? And so if I am awake, I need to act like it all the way. I can't pretend to be, oh, am I afraid? Am I not ready? So how did we get here? I think I could have commented and you could have just given me the influencer, and there's no shame, no tea. But you could have given me the thanks, heart, like, emoji, move on. No shame. It happens. We have things to do. But you didn't.
Yeah.
And I think that I have been practicing putting one, to the best of my ability, maybe it's 95%, maybe it's 80%, but let's call it 100%. I've been putting 100% of myself into what I do on this application.
Yeah.
And seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
Because I don't own this stuff. I'm not, my prayer every day is let me be a portal to God's love.
Yes. Oh my God. That's it. More, please. A couple things. One, I want you to formally introduce yourself for people who, are just seeing you. I want them to know your name and stuff so they can go check you out, because I don't know if it's easy for them to find you right here. So I want them to hear your name, and I'm parking the piece about what you said about your prayer has been to be a portal to God's love. I mean, true love, okay? True love. And I want to say something about. So please introduce yourself formally.
Sure, thank you. My name is Vanessa Aldridge. I am 36. I live in New York City, Brooklyn. But I work I work all over this area. I am an opera singer, primarily. Well, I'm an opera singer and a writer. I also have a day job in finance. The finance day job obviously is where I spend the lion's share of my time, but my primary interest in this lifetime as an artist is through the medium of singing.
Yes.
And through opera, and then secondarily in writing.
Yes.
My interest as a writer, as a creative person, as a living being, as a student of life, is to be in pursuit of wisdom that is old, which is to say tested over time, which is to say durable through all iterations of life. And so I survey art, culture, world religion, philosophy, any source whatsoever, wisdom about specifically the creative process. And in my survey, and this is kind of the thesis that I'm developing, I think, with my life and my life's work, is that there is no difference whatsoever between a creative person's matriculation through life, the creative soul's matriculation, and the spiritual unfolding. The creative and the spiritual unfolding are one and the same. Only today have those pursuits become fragmented through the demands of our commodified society.
Yeah.
And I always say this, that in 5,000 years of sacred texts, earliest written down ever is about 5,000 years old. When you get to one of the newer ones, perhaps in the books of the Church of Latter-day Saints. In 5,000 years of spiritual texts, every single tradition refers to their God as their creator. So if God is the creator, then what am I? And I meditate on that. And so I wish to make those teachings accessible because, again, and I think you and I have a lot to say about this together, is that one does need to move on. One does need to matriculate. One cannot get stuck in the first half of their creative nor their spiritual life. And I think that many of us are. So I wish to help with that, but certainly not as a guru, as a comrade.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah. Or as your profile says, you choose.
Yes.
That made me laugh.
I don't care. What you think of me matters less than it used to me, and thank God for it.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So I want to do this because I also repurpose this content and blah, blah, blah. So let me, first of all, shout out folks who are here now. I want to say hello to our whoever here. Hello, Adenko. Lovecraft, I never saw Lovecraft. Thank you for following. Please go ahead and share this live stream. If you are here on a regular basis, if you come here often, Sharita, I see your name and face. You're here often. If you could share or whatever you want. But anyone who's here regularly, and if you're here regularly, it's because you find value here and you like others to receive the value. Please go ahead and share the live stream. I have time to be here until 3 o'clock my time, which is about another 37 minutes. Do you have a time limit today, Vanessa?
I don't. I have time.
Okay, beautiful. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here, everyone. I only respond to people who have profile photos. Thank you for sharing, Adenko. Okay, so so many things to discuss. I want to start with, let me tell you the two things that are up right now for me. One, the prayer that you are a portal for God's love. I'm going to say a portal for true love, okay? And then the piece you just said about the creative path and the spiritual path being one and the same. And bringing forth a piece of content you created that said something like, I'm paraphrasing, creative energy is sexual energy. So we have 2 points here. Which direction do you want to go?
Let's do the portal.
Okay. So your prayer is, I just want to share how pleasing, how deeply satisfying and nourishing this feels. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. It just feels so plump and yes. And I would like all humans to know this, have this, be this. And this is a big part of my big vision as well. We'll park that. A lot of parking of this.
I feel the same way.
So the prayer is that I am a portal for true love. Is it okay that we say true love?
Absolutely. Okay.
That I am a portal for true love, okay? Which clearly you are being. You're here with me, the way you moved, and I as well. So we are in the action of that prayer. We are embodied, living that prayer. So let's clarify that piece, okay? And defining true love and answering any questions anyone here has about true love. And so to begin, I want to get into the definition of it and this waiting that I've been in. So one, the definition. And we already said this.
I'm so sorry, I'm having a little hard time hearing you. The sound is coming in and out. The microphone maybe, I'm not sure.
Okay. Is anyone else here struggling to hear me clearly? Thank you for following, Michelle, and sharing the live stream. Is anyone else having a hard time hearing me? I'm glad you're loving this so much, Jay Skrilla. Oh, other people are having a hard time hearing me too. Okay, so I wonder what I should do about that. That's a first.
I mean, I understand most of it.
Let me move my, sometimes when devices get close and
Okay, yeah, let's try that.
let's try that, okay? Defining true love. Oh, Lord. I might cry.
Allow it.
And I'm putting, as I'm getting ready to put this into words, it's really wordless in many ways, okay? Flow. When I think about the trees and the plants that grow, when I think about rivers and lakes and all the natural phenomena of the world,
yes,
there's no, like, the efforting that a commerce-based world requires and demands, right? And being in this feminine body, when I rest, when I relax, when I do a lot of the deeper work, the shadow work, what you call the growing up work, all the work that allows me to address the tension that I hold in my body, the stress, the tension, the doubt, the worry, the shame, and I commit myself to this work. There's a fundamental place of rest at which I walk through my life. It's really fundamental. I could still feel stress. I could still, as you talked about, sadness and melancholy. All those things are still percolating all the time. But at the deepest fundamental level, I rest. And because I can, at a fundamental level, rest like that, I can exist as true love, meaning the flow of the rivers, the guaranteed rise and set of the sun, or, not necessarily rise and set, but the guarantee that the sun will disappear and come, the growing of trees and plants, that flow, that guarantee can always exist in me, which allows me to be able to fully interact with life. And there's a particular person that I'm thinking of right now where the same way I felt about you, I felt about him, and I moved with the same, but with him, instead of pausing and just being in the genuine call like I have with you, I took an action. And and it's been like this with so many people over the years where I just had to learn to pull back. The point is that flow, though, of just go, go, flow. With the impulse of me, with the impulse of everybody here watching, okay? When I'm free at that rested place deep inside, because I've done all the work that I mentioned here, the shadow, the growing up and all that, I can really engage with life. And when women say to me, I want freedom, women are telling me all the time, I want to be free. I want to be free. Yes. I want to be authentically expressed. I want to be who I really am. I want to travel where I want to travel, when I want to travel. I want to write my book. I want to stop being afraid of being myself around people. I want to be free. Like, women say this to me all the time. Daily. And they're not saying I'm looking to be a portal for true love, but that's what they want. But I'm not going to market that because they're not going to buy that.
But that's a little tough.
Right? They're not going to lean into that.
It's a little tough to bite onto.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest thing, so to speak. Not that we're tricking anybody, but it's a little elusive.
Yes. So this is true love, where there's the full contact sport of life, where I don't hesitate saying I love you because I just met you 5 minutes ago. Right? I don't hesitate. When it's real, it's real. You can put all kind of stuff on it, but when you said, I literally love you, true, it's there.
It's there.
And because I'm open to it, and I don't have all of my own story making in the way, my own fear in the way, my own doubt in the way, my own judgment of people and women and this idea that I have to earn love and who are you, all that humans do, they keep them out of the flow of the river.
Yes.
The flow of the river, where love all the time is coming at people. And it's just like, no, I said people are like this. No, because.
And they don't know that they're being like that.
Yeah.
They don't know that it's this.
Yeah. So that's the definition of true love. And what I personally would like to say is, I was in Italy, last month, I think it was, and I created a piece of content. It's on TikTok right now, talking about how I'm just waiting for the right ones of us to show up. Because I follow intuitive instruction, like how you commented, like that was intuitive, right? It happens, you go, right?
Yes.
And I do that all the time. And I think, well, for me at least, so much of me thought that me responding intuitively would automatically give me a favorable response. So I want to share with everybody here that moving intuitively doesn't automatically mean it's going to work out. Like the vision that you got with the intuitive, it doesn't mean it's going to play out like that. It doesn't mean the other person is going to. Go ahead.
Exceptionally important point.
Exceptionally important, because I thought I'm following instruction. Why is it this person, didn't they get the call too? Didn't they get the what's going on here? And it's like, no, actually this is part of your teaching here, and this person is just in on it, whether they are in conscious awareness of it or not. So when you came like that, I've been sitting in wait before that video. Since then, it's been sitting in wait. And when you came forth and it all worked, I said, oh, okay, here is the right person showing up as I have been waiting,
Yes.
So.
Yes, I love what you said, that it's not, I think about this as a lot, and it's one of the patterns, the things that I feel into, perhaps in earlier seasons of my life when I was searching for a few things, asking a few questions. But there is this belief that getting on some sort of intuitive path, going in flow, trusting your intuition, we do this a lot in like manifestation language, contemporary manifestation language, that we still are orienting, guiding, funneling our intuitive gifts, our spiritual striving, our most natural, our truest soul deep efforts towards extracting something from our life. But it's not about that. It's not necessarily, okay, when I get into flow, I'm going to get what I want on my manifestation list.
True.
Not necessarily. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes it's bigger. Sometimes our intuition leads us straight into danger.
Yeah.
And
that's necessary too. And that's necessary too.
Point that you made, that it's not about getting what we want. It's rather, and I haven't articulated it the way you have, and I love this. About, I forget how you say it actually, being fully engaged, being
the full contact sport of life.
Being in the fight. But what do you say?
The full contact sport of life.
Full contact. That's genius. I love that, because again, it's not like you're floating. It's not like you got put into a game and then all of your opponents quit. And everyone is disqualified, and then you just won the gold medal. No, it's full contact. You get to go through life totally leaned in, to be totally at one with the ebbs and flow of life.
I'm telling you.
In the same way that a rock that is sitting in the bed of a river is in it.
Yeah.
But that's, and we are afraid of that.
Yeah.
Because we think that that's where our vulnerability is to danger, some sort of experience of death. But that's not. That is where the power is to be utterly
available,
engaged with this just embarrassing level of bravery every day.
I'm telling you, it is.
That's where our safety is.
Yeah. Counterintuitive.
It's counterintuitive. Thank you for saying that. It's counterintuitive to everything that we're taught, certainly in the first half of our lives, where it is important for us to follow. It is important for us to find a path and a mold. It's very important. But the coming of age is about saying, wait a minute. Wait a second. Because we started, from dust, and we'll go back to it. And so how do you get back there?
How do you define true love?
How do I define true love? I mean, exactly verbatim what you did.
No, I want to hear your words.
Yeah, I mean, right. No, true love for me is this.
Take your time.
Thank you. Yeah, it's this.
I know, right? Just to put words.
It's a love that cannot be extinguished. It's a love that I don't have to earn.
Exactly.
It's a love that I don't have to buy.
Yeah.
It's not behind a paywall. It's not behind some version of me that is more healed than the day before. It is not buried inside a path that I should have taken. It is so. True love is the thing. And I feel like there's probably a scientific way to describe this. That it is true love is the thing that is so fundamentally stabilizing to all life. To the expansion of the cosmos in every direction. It is, I think that we as humans with our senses and our emotions have a tendency to extrapolate these feelings of like romance and maybe make it akin to a mother, but I think it is far more neutral than that, perhaps so neutral and fundamental that we can't conceive of it unless we liken it to something like romance or paternal love or godly love or something like that. I think it is the stabilizing energy in the universe.
And what experiences facilitate me embodying this more and more forevermore?
Yeah.
What relationships, what everything about my life more and more and more. And this is there's a part of me that, so it's a multitudinal thing here right now. Hold on. So there's multiple things. One thing you said is true love is inextinguishable. I love that profoundly. It's inextinguishable. Like you can't do something to make it go away.
It's not possible. You have to earn it.
And my God.
I know. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Was there an event or a series or a period or something, however you'd answer it, where you started to pick up speed, so to speak, where it felt easier, safer, more natural to be in this flow, or said another way, when you realized once and for all that I'm going to actually commit to this best I can?
Yeah. So thank you for the question. This is good. The first thing that came to mind is there's been a series of events. And what I can talk about to make the point are themes that have been in my life. And if I could start about, the beginning, thank you for the likes on YouTube and the hearts here on TikTok. The beginning of it was when I checked out of what I saw was being the normal life. Let's start there. Okay. because people see me today, right? 2024, just like a person creating content online, and right, it's easy to sort of just see me today as this thing that people are intimidated by, that's this enigma, that's this powerful being, etc. And it started, first of all, at birth, but coming into my awareness as a teenager. So it starts there. And what I've come to know, right? Because I was extremely idealistic once upon a time. Like, I was the girl that would go up to strangers and hug them at Whole Foods. You know what I mean? I was the girl that would just love on strangers. You know, I've always been like this, and I've learned, you know, I've endured so much pain to withhold love, to hold back. I mean, it's horrifying it's horrifying. It can be. I've learned, though. I know how to care for myself now better.
Absolutely.
So anyway, it started as a teenager, when I just really could see that normal life was not going to work for me. And it was such a, whoa, it was just so, like, how am I going to live here? Like, how am I going to live here? Like, I'm in such disagreement with how these people live. How is this going to work for me? You know? And that's just sent me on this. So, like, everything I started to do from that point was just like exploring. Like, and so, of course, I end up in a lot of weird scenarios. And, you know, women are so much wanting what I have, but they don't realize you can't buy this. You have to live this, you know? And when I am coaching and mentoring women to do the unconventional thing, the dangerous thing, the weird thing that is already calling for them to do anyway, it's like somehow they think they can bypass it, or if they just get close enough to me, something will rub off, or, you know, and it's like, no, baby, you gotta get fucked up. Like, you have to go into the danger zone. You have to leave that man you're with. You're not going to come into your power with that man. He depends on you cooking and being you're the dependable woman. You know what I mean? You're the reliable coochie. Like, and that's your position in his life. So anything that looks like you wanting to go off to another country for 6 months out of the year is a problem. Anything that looks like you going off to voyage, to explore, to play, to get to know, you're a Jezebel. Like, that's out of divine order. And like,
In some way.
Yeah, what is it? No, that's not how marriage. It's like all the things. And like, and here's the thing, if that's what y'all agreed to, then you got to pay for that and figure out how you gonna work that, because you know what I mean. Y'all agreed to that, and now you growing up and shit is changing. But anyway, so you can't buy this. You have to actually do the work, but you can do it. And I'm here to support women in doing it, because you can, and it's where the actual adventure is. You know, I was with one of my women.
That's where the adventure is.
That's where the adventure is. Like, I was with a small group of my women earlier this week, and she was talking about this shithole of experiences that she was in Hawaii, and then, you know, ending up with this view of the Pacific Ocean. But she went through this hell of an experience to get to the gorgeous view in Hawaii of the Pacific Ocean. And I'm like, so you realize, right, that you went through that hell, and that the reason why you appreciated that view of the Pacific Ocean in Hawaii is because of the hell you went through, right? Right? And it's like, I want women to know, men too, who are watching, is that this like life you imagine, this heaven on earth that you imagine, it's not going to happen. Most likely, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's highly likely not going to happen with this person who you've been with for 20 years, who's your comfort zone. And the comfort of your relationship is based on these very limited agreements you guys have to create your life together. I don't want it to be like that, but that's just what it typically is. This is why so many couples, when one of them wants to grow up and do something that's outside of the quiet agreements they have, the relationship splits, or the other one gets on board, and then they go off, and it's like they're the next wing of their relationship looks radically different than it has looked up till now. And Esther Perel talks a lot about this, but so that was a long-winded explanation to how I got here. Going on the adventure of my life and just being willing. And I just want to share with everybody, it's been horrendous in many ways over the years. Like,
Yes.
I've endured so much, people leaving because I'm not in this relationship just to be what you want me to be. I'm here to grow and love and explore and play. And you just want me here for my naivete, my love, and my regular sex, but you don't really want to know me. That's been my experience with a lot of men, like, who could see my power before I could see it. And I'm loving. So
wow.
men,
Now you just it created a mandatory follow-up hour where we talk about men who are afraid of the energy that we have before we even do it ourselves.
So they like it when you're naive about it, right? Like,
yes,
because then they can come in and sort of
in that stage.
Right. They can like steward you and play daddy, and like, I can show you how to, kind of thing. And I mean, that's been a lot of my experience in the past with men. They either like me naive and around them, or they don't like me. They don't like me, really. Like my fullness, like full power. They might want access. They might want my encouragement. They might want me to tell them the truth about something that relates to their career or something, but they don't want me. They don't want to care for me. They don't want to be with a powerful woman. And I literally just had a conversation with a woman like this yesterday, and I've had I know so many married women who have been married for a long time, who are powerful women, who have said to me, my husband, I know he's not gonna be cool with me being who I really am. And this is why I'm like, I don't buy the whole marriage and you've been married for 20 years, so what? Most people are not, right? They're together for the kids because they can't afford to be apart, because they're afraid to be alone, because whatever, it's cheaper to keep her. They're not thriving in that so often. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but for so often. And I talk a lot about the price to pay for freedom, like the real price to pay. And there's so much what I have learned, right, to even fast forward it, so many things, but what I've learned on this is really appreciating the impermanence of life. It's that whether I want it or not, really valuing and respecting the impermanence of life. I was in the car this morning thinking about marriage because it's just everywhere all the time. And just thinking about how so much of me has not wanted marriage, or just the way people do relationship. Like, I saw a piece of content you did about the creativeness of relationships and how they can, and I was just like, ding, 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 ding. And whenever I mean, that's, wow. In any and all relationships, any and all, whether they're romantic, platonic, creative, whatever label we put on it, when I truly love you, this is what I mean about true love. When I truly love you, I don't do anything to bind you. I want you. Maya Angelou said, love liberates. I want you to be free. I want you to be free. I want you to live. I want you to explore. I want you to play. And Dr. Umar, this had me respect him in a particular way. You know Dr. Umar?
Yes, yeah.
He was being interviewed. He was on somebody's podcast, and he was talking about, and I love how he gets at black men because they hear it different coming from him. He says some of the same things I say, but when I say it, I'm a Jezebel bitch that's gonna die alone. But when he say it, it's like, man, King. You know what I'm saying? But he said a lot of brothers, you need to understand love. He was talking about love. And I was just like, what? I was leaned in. He was just like, sometimes that love means you're not in her life no more. She's not in your life no more. And I'm just like, ooh, did they hear that? Because love liberates, darling. And I never could understand how people could be like, I'm a love, unless it's true love. Right?
Unless this is where it is and that's what we're doing.
Right. Like, I'm here because this is where I'm to be because love mandates it. Not because we gotta make it work. Not because I vowed to you under these vows that somebody else gave us and like this is how marriage goes kind of thing. And I met it.
Yes, it is the extent to which the concept of love is packaged up into being an economic milestone.
Yeah.
It's not,
or status.
It's not fully appreciated. It is a thing that we must do on the economic plane, not dissimilar to graduating high school, going to college, getting a grad degree. Then you get a good job. Then you get a better good job. You get married at what? It's an economic milestone, and there's nothing wrong with moving through the matrix. We must. There's the necessity to do that successfully to stay alive. We have to pay the rent. It's due every month. But that consideration, that fearful, linear, binary award system that is built into the economic matriculation of a person is not
true love.
How true love moves.
Yeah, it's not.
For example, which I love about what you said, and this people ask me that same question, how'd you get to feeling this, that, and the third? And it's, like you, I've traveled all over the world by myself. Marriage has always been something that just has baffled me in my path. And how did you get there, Vanessa? It's not through avoiding heartache. Certainly not. No. How do I get there? Perhaps because there were chapters where I could not escape. North, south, east, west, this year and the next year. I can't escape the heartache. Yeah. I can't escape the difficulty. That is the season, that is the chapter, that is the path. I can't escape it. So, but love is there. Yeah. And the encountering difficulty is seen as a failure in the matrix. But from the soul perspective, on the path where there is true love only, it is it's a necessity.
A necessity. An absolute necessity. I don't try to understand anymore the things normal people do, and I don't
have time for it.
And for a long time, I used to be like, why do people consider divorce a failure? It's like, it's just like anything else you could do where it's like, okay, we don't want to do this. This doesn't work. But anyway, I'm done with that. So there's.
It's because your encounter with defeat, and certainly you talk about shadow work a lot, and you talk about it in a really clever way, in a really accessible way, which I really appreciate. But don't you think that excavation that you've done in yourself with shadow work is part of it? That there's this steadiness, there is an experience that one has. What can be more devastating from the soul perspective than the most unflattering view of oneself? And so what's the worst thing that you can say to that kind of failure? Is, okay, I failed. Which is a perfectly dignified experience to have failed.
Yes,
Something.
yes.
Nothing wrong with failure.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know? What did I say? I don't remember.
I just love the way you use that word a lot. I noticed that in your content. Like, basically, paraphrasing, all of life is dignified.
Yeah.
All of life is dignified. Like, I gotta listen to you talk like this is dignified. That's it. And it's just like so. And this is what I've had to temper my heart around and really living on in the vastness and the fringes of life, right? Because people look at me and they see this polished, poised,
Honey, it sings.
articulate, like
Flowing, steady, still.
right?
Let me go do my skincare before I get on this. She's gonna have hers.
Listen, and all of that is most certainly a part of the experience. Yes, and the level of gosh, and I don't think I can even say enough about this. The level of filth that I have traversed, the amount of filth, the many dark holes, the many, like, okay, relationship is where the rubber meets the road, right? I have deliberately put myself in harm's way just to confront fear, particularly with men.
Okay.
Like men can rape you. Men have a particular kind of meanness about them when they get ready to. Okay.
Absolutely.
They read women. They pay attention. Like there are men who quietly watch me to understand men, to see how, right? Whatever they're, to understand women, to whatever is their reasoning, right? And like I've had men say to me, "I'm gonna be your number one hunter." They're watching me to learn how to understand women, powerful women. They're watching me, some of them to learn how to connive and cun and get in there and like how to see women from, like, right? There's a particular ugliness about men. Women have their own ugliness too. This is not about pinpointing men as these demons, okay? I'm talking about this from the woman's perspective and why so many women stop. Shit, they could be married and they stop. They could be single and they stop themselves from getting free. Stop themselves from being seen. Stop themselves from being seen as sexual beings. Stop themselves. So many of us are really afraid of men. We're afraid of male behavior, attack, verbal shit. If he pays all your bills, you're afraid of him withholding money, etc. And there's been seasons in my life where I deliberately put myself in harm's way with men so I could get over my fear of men. So I could even see their humanity, not even just the part of them that's mean and ugly, but even see their humanity. And I've just really come to know how fragile men are, regardless of this extra masculine thing that they put up, how fragile they are, how they know nothing until a woman shows them. Especially as it relates to women, they know nothing. They know their mother and they know the women they've had sex with to the degree that they know them, right? Because so many women don't even show themselves in their relationships. They're performative to get their bills paid, to keep the peace, whatever. But they know nothing until they are in love with a woman and they're open to learning what a woman is, okay? And I've also seen a lot of ugly. I've seen like pure wickedness of a broken heart of a man, the pure, like such wickedness. And it happens with women too, but it's just a different experience to be a woman experiencing it with a man, the evil, the wicked brutality of a man, black man, who is brokenhearted and has not reconciled that heart, okay? And so that has had me feel filthy. That has had me confront my own lack of empathy, my own judgment, my own ignorance, my own, just all the deep, deep parts of ourselves that we want to get to know so we can be clean channels for true love. This is what I mean. You don't get here because you want to. You get here because you pay the price to be here. And the price is hefty and it hurts. And so, yes, I'm polished and all the things, and I know filth and I know it meticulously. And I'm not afraid of it. And I just know that there's such beauty and dignity in filth. And it's a huge part of the reason why Shadow Gold even exists. Because the love that I know is possible, nobody can get there unless they learn to truly revere that which is filthy, so that they can get to the light that's on the other side of it, because it's always there.
On the other side.
Yeah.
It is on the other side. I really appreciate just the space that you hold and the light that you give.
Yeah.
And the message that you give, and how sturdy it is, how firm it is. It's the scaffolding is mighty in you, and energetic. That's what it feels. That's what we experience on the other side, and I love it because it holds a space. And I know you have to go. I just want to say this, but I think that something that existed up until very recently in the industry, maybe it stopped. It's available in small circles, but barely now. But for hundreds and thousands of years, up until a certain recent point, there was a space, a ceremony of sorts of some kind, where people would gather around the community member and say, "Oh my gosh, they're going through something. They're demonstrating considerable angst. They're in the filth." And to the community, they knew that was the rite of passage, going, and that was they were on their way into the sparkle, into the shine, into the maturing, and they would surround them and celebrate them. And so I love that the space that you hold for people, because people need to be held in that space, or else they won't know what's required to get to the other side.
Yeah.
How sacred it is.
Yeah. And we'll corrode if we don't. We'll stay inside of lackluster relationships and try to layer on things to fill the hole. But none of it will work until we. And I would like to do more of it. It's just the right two or more has to be in on it, because I've partnered with so many people in so many different ways and so many angles, and people don't get it. And it's like, no matter how much I tell people, like, this is going to hurt, this is what's required, this is what, and try to prepare people. And, even people who think that they have gone through, there's another piece there, and it's revealing itself of what's required, the commitment level that's required, and the clarity of what we're doing. But then also there's a lot of, I think, true love in this that's going to allow this to really happen, because it's here, it's available, it's possible. And it's about the right two or more really being available to facilitate that. That's how I see that. So, for your question of how did I get here, it's been a start point as a teenager, and then just recommitting over and over and over again, because it's brutal. And I think in some ways you got to be ordained for this. It's just sort of proving. It's just sort of proving that you got to be ordained for this.
I agree. You have to be selective.
Yeah. So
you can't fake it.
Yeah,
you can, and you can make some money.
You're not gonna.
Help, but there is a depth that you need to have gone through.
Yeah, for real. So I don't want to leave, just so you know.
I know. I'm waiting for you to cancel your plans.
Yes. So let's connect. Like, can we hop on the phone after we hang up here?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then we'll work out whatever is next. And
yes.
I'm happy to take questions though. Does anybody here? There's been a lot of.
Yes. I want to give a shout out to one of my dearest friends and collaborators, Sade. She wasn't here, but she's still in here.
Okay.
Genius mystic and a scholar and astrologer.
Yes. Okay. Sade said, kind of wild how the witch hunts targeted the older women in the community. Yeah, they targeted everybody. Thank you for following, Hannah. Jay Skrilla, hey. Hey. Dream and trigger our sacred chi energy. Oh my goodness. No. Okay. All right, darling. Well, thank you all so much for being here. I feel like we know there's so much that's been left unsaid, and so much more to come. And, You're very welcome, Moochie Love. Thank you so much for being here, Vanessa. Send me your phone number in the DMs. All right. Thank you so much, YouTube. And we'll see you all later. Bye.
Bye. Take care.